is Merce Indigo. Aloha Friday, May 27th, 2022. Experience meditation deep dive with the Blue Lotus, Nymphaea Cerulea. As soon as I took this tincture and I held it under my tongue and in my mouth for several minutes to try to absorb more through the glands in the mouth, immediately started seeing the blue beings revisited again by the blue-skinned beings like Krishna, Medicine Buddha, Sirian beings, seeing Egyptian and ancient Aryan Indian beings of blue skin. An interesting revisit to the concept that the individual feels more at home imagining self as blue-skinned. Interesting. And upon closing my eyes to proceed with the oracle transmission, seeing waves, ripples on a lake, or on a river, or on a pond, a still pond, seeing ripples of the water gently flowing, and kind of hearing aquatic and watery sounds as if we were under the water, in the water with the lotus, maybe with its root ball under the water with the fish. Now seeing undines and nymphs, water nymphs. And they're kind of almost frog-like. They have little gills in their necks and kind of like a frog-like hominid. Very cute, very sweet. Kind of small. Also seeing more of an undine, like flowing long hair, almost more of a mermaid type, but no mertail. Seeing now the reflection of the sky at night with all the stars shining in the Milky Way, almost as if you're laying on the bottom of the pond and looking up through the water at the sky. Seeing a very interesting cosmic connection here, a galactic connection here in the waters, in Terra, on Gaia, Terra Nova, with the lily people, the lotus people, and feeling such a deep, deep wisdom, like elders, ancient elders, wisdom keepers from the lotus, because they root in the mud, in the darkness, in the sludge, in what may not be directly perceived as glamorous. And they find the nutrients there, and the seed takes sprout and roots. And I'm being shown that process actually of rooting can take some time. Rooting and creating the stock for the stability. So I'm seeing this as a metaphor for us, for our lives. We come into these dense fields where it can be dark, so to speak, meaning hard to perceive, or hard to connect the dots at first, so we have to make the connections within. And building our light, building our consciousness, seeing these as the synaptic or neural connections in the mind, in the brain, and in the muscles, all over our neurology. Being shown similar to an infant who is born and taking in the environment and eventually learning to crawl and walk and stand tall. So this developmentally, psychologically, spiritually, soul level evolution is what's happening with the lotus. So seeing a really beautiful, much deeper exploration of this iconic image that is used so much all over the yoga world, all the ancient scriptures, ancient India, ancient Egypt. Getting a more human perspective, a template to understand the depths of our rooting process and how we, in our human experience, a spiritual being having a human experience cannot judge our process or the duration of time to quantify experience, how long it takes for us to create our roots and to find our footing, to find our connection, to root down, and then start to stand tall and reach and rise up. They're showing me that for some, this takes the first half of their life. That could be to age 35. It could be to 65, 25, 15. Born that way with the different generations of star-seeded holy children, crystals and seeds, children coming and here. We've been here for some time now. So they're showing that is such a precious process because it's finding the self. And in the human experience, we separate, have expectations, goals, societal norms, implications, cookie cutter expectations placed upon us, and we embody those sometimes as our own truth. Showing to release beliefs, allow them to change, allow them to flow like the water downhill, and that they can change, and that when we write on water, it can always shift. Nothing is set in stone because it's water, and we are here with the lotus and the water nymphs and Mama Gaia through the water, Mother's waters. Yeah, so beautiful receiving about taking whatever time we need and really holding to our mission to root and find out where we need to be for that. What's the optimum of all of it? What's the highest quality and highest value for all of that to really happen with a firm foundation, so that then once we anchor, we can start to root up very tall and eventually puncture these different layers. So first we come out of the mud and into the water, which can still be murky when it's stirred up, continuing to rise and rise and rise upwards, knowing that that is the navigation. And this is metaphoric, of course, because as we reach up for the sun, as the lotus, we are reaching deeper within the sun of our own heart. Inward is also upward, the higher realms really deeply within. And seeing this is a beautiful metaphor for so many of us on the spiritual journey who have come in preloaded with a lot of exciting ideas and innovations and wanting to really contribute to society and improve it, and meaning more of a new earth conscious, holistic system that feeds and nourishes everyone in the planet. Everyone is celebrated, very pure, very Telosian, Lemurian. So I'm seeing this beautiful connection with the lotus, with the blue lotus here. The blue is significant because it's bringing in the Sirian energy. I'm seeing an Arcturian, Pleiadian. So the blue is many things. It could be the actual galactic nations and their skin color or their characteristics or their energy fields, like the blue ray kind of energetic. Its signature. And it can also be the color of the dips of space. When we look at the Pleiades a lot, sometimes they look like they're glowing with a beautiful indigo blue or sapphire blue around them. And I keep seeing actually the story of Vishnu and how he was born from his mother, which I believe was the goddess Parvati. And there was a lotus at her navel, and he was born from that. And seeing the belly button and the navel area for us as grown-ups or different phases of the journey as a star, as the flower itself, the lotus, the shape of it is like a star, like the flower, and really seeing that this is a star flower. This is from the cosmos. It's a galactic gift, a divine dispensation for us here on Gaia. And seeing like a female priestess in Egypt, a scribe, and she is taking the blue lotus, and she has her beautiful stylus, and Thoth is there with her, and she has this beautiful, it's not like a sofa, I don't know what you would call this furniture, it almost looks like a fainting couch, if I could call it something more modern in their style, and she's upon it with a long pad, a really long scroll of a pad of the papyrus reed paper with her stylus. And she has an open view of the stars in the sky, like she's taking in the blue lotus to then sit under the stars and receive wisdom and gnosis and light codes and transcribe them as an oracle. So I ask the main message of the blue lotus today, and it's really this visual of rooting down and reaching high. And by higher up, we mean deeper within, higher frequency, simplicity, pure unity consciousness, free from distortions and anything that separates you from bliss, essentially, is the best way, because all of the words are failing. None of the words are really able to describe this, because each time we use these words, it's almost as if we are declaring ourselves unworthy or flawed or imperfect. And really the idea is kind of dissolving that and anything that kind of lends to that feeling of separation from divine perfection. And hearing the Bhagavad Gita, the universe is perfect, we are just judging it otherwise. So anyway, they want to share that words are limited and make sure that you keep an open door, an open file for translation. Be open, ask what this can mean to you, allowing every word to open up a whole portal of meaning into the Akash for this transmission. And again, the main message to focus on, they say, just seeing all these beautiful beings from Egypt with the different crowns on. It's like the hieroglyph statues kind of come to life, and they're standing at the bank of the Nile holding the blue lotuses out as offerings for us. And to remember that we are all lotuses too, and this is the deep teaching that we get in the scriptures of yoga, that is the journey, the soul's journey, the human experience here, rooting down in the mud, in the dark. We may not have a lot of clarity, but we can feel our way in and find the spot to anchor, feeling what feels right and aligned. And then anchoring and beginning to stretch and straighten up, and then beginning to stretch and reach towards the light until we have broken through these layers of the water up onto the surface of the water, which is an entirely new realm, entirely new biosphere, new creatures, collaborators, seeing the lotus like a lily pad as the leaves spread open and out, and then the flowers bloom. All of a sudden, we're transitioning from underwater, a different density, to sky and sun and bees, birds, other insects, dragonflies, butterflies, the ethereal realms, and the sun. Place in the sun. So that is the transmission from beautiful Blue Lotus. I'm feeling complete with this, and this will be a exploration in progress. So keep you posted as more comes through. Thank you so much for joining. Wishing you an amazing experience. This is Marissa Indigo, Divine DNA Blueprint.